Number 3. Chandra, David, and Elise each tried to solve the equation 5x plus 8 equals 12 minus 2 times the quantity of x plus 3. They got 3 different results. So I'll move my face out of the way so we can see. I'll move myself up here. All right, so let's take a look. And I don't like to go through a bunch of problems showing you the wrong way. So as soon as I find a mistake, I'm going to move on to the next one. So we have 5x plus 8 equals 12. Okay, we know the equation. And the first step I see is I need to distribute this. Okay, so this is going to stay the same. And then I have minus 2 times x, that's negative 2x. And a negative 2 times a positive 3, that's negative 6. Okay, so this is good so far. The next part, they have 5x plus 8. And they have a negative 2x. 12 minus 6 is a positive 6. This is correct. I'm going to keep going here. It looks like, remember, we need to move the coefficient that is smaller. So we have 5 and we have negative 2. Negative 2 is smaller. So we're going to get rid of negative 2x. How do we get rid of negative 2x or minus 2x? With a plus 2x. Notice that they did that on both sides. Okay, which is right here and here. So we're going to combine like terms. 5x plus 2x is 7x plus the 8 equals, now negative 2x and positive 2x, well, this is going to be 0. And 0 plus 6 is 6. Our next step is we will have to, looking at this part here, we're going to have to subtract 8. And that's what they did. And remember, if you subtract 8 on one side, you have to do it to the other side as well. So we have 7x plus 8 minus 8, which is 0. So we end up with 7x. And 6 minus 8 is negative 2. One last step. It says to multiply by 7 here. The opposite of that is by dividing by 7. So we divide by 7 on both sides. And we get x equals negative 2 over 7. Chandra is correct. Now let's find a mistake over here on this side. So again, first thing, we have to distribute. So we have this negative 2 times x, that's negative 2x, and this minus 2 times 3 should be a negative 6. So this part here is completely wrong. That plus 3, not even close. Let's go ahead and continue to Elise, find out where her mistake is. Again, we have to distribute. The first step should be to distribute. What they did here was add a negative 12. Can we do that? We can. So we're going to go ahead and keep going from here. We added negative 12 to both sides. So on this side, I'm going to end up with negative 2 and x plus 3. That is correct because these will cancel. Looking at this side, we have 8 plus a negative 12. That is a negative 4. And we bring down the 5x. Our next step here is they subtracted 3, but they did it from inside the parentheses. They should have distributed first. So this here is the mistake. So let's go ahead and continue here. Whose solution is correct? That would be Chandra. And I'll go ahead and type that out. Chandra is correct. David did not distribute properly. And Elise didn't distribute first. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going on. So solve these equations using algebraic properties. Compare your solutions with your partner. So you guys should take a second here and try to do this on your own. So right now, feel free to pause. And I will go ahead and go over how to solve this problem. Okay, so looking at this, I'm looking at the variables here. I have a 5x here and an 8x on this side. Okay, remember it's better to move the the variable with the smaller coefficient. Now you don't have to, but it does end up being a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move 5x or eliminate 5x. I'm going to move it over here to this side. So the way to get rid of a positive 5x is to subtract 5x. So I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. Actually, I'm going to use a different color here. Actually, no, I think I like the red. So minus 5x. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other. Now, I'm not going to write the minus 5x underneath the 4. I'm going to match it up with the 8x. So minus 5x. So 5x minus 5x, this is going to be 0. 0 minus 14 is negative 14 equals 8x minus 5x is 3x. And then I'm going to bring down this plus 4. Now remember, the goal is to isolate the variable. I have x right here. And I've got to multiply by 3, and I also have this plus 4. I need to get rid of this plus 4 before I get rid of this multiply by 3. So to get rid of plus 4, I need to subtract 4. So I'm going to go minus 4 and minus 4. Okay, so on this side, we have negative 14 and a negative 4. These signs are the same, so I'm going to add and keep the sign. So 14 and 4 is 18. Keep the sign, which is negative, equals 3x. 4 minus 4 is 0 or nothing. So I'm going to leave it as nothing. Keep in mind, here's my variable. I need to get rid of multiply by 3. How do you get rid of multiply by 3? Well, we need to divide by 3. Okay, so negative 18, divide that by 3 is negative 6, equals 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. So x equals negative 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to part B. Oh, we've got fractions on this one. All right, so let's go ahead and distribute this negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 times negative 4 is going to be positive because we have a negative times a negative. And then half of 4 is 2. So I have 2x. Now I have negative 1/2 times that by 3. So over here to the side, I'm just going to go ahead and write that out for you. Times that by 3. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So it's going to be negative 3/2. Equals, oops, not equals, forgot about that, minus 2, equals 1 plus 1/2 x. Now I'm looking at this right here. I think I should combine these. So that's my next step. I'm going to combine these two. So I have 2x, and I have negative 3/2 minus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write that up over here for you. Now, when subtracting, you have to have an LCD. So instead of 2 or 2 over 1, I'm going to change this to 4 over 2. So I have an LCD. So I'm going to go ahead and write it that way. So now I have negative 3 and negative 4. That makes a negative 7. And this is going to remain the same, 2. So minus 7/2 or minus 3.5. Let's go with minus 3.5 equals 1 plus 1/2 x. Okay, so I'm looking at the coefficients that go with my variable. Okay, so I have 2x and I have 1/2 x. Well, this 1/2 x is smaller, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate 1/2 x from this side. And the way I do that is with a minus 1/2 x. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Okay, so I have 2 minus 1/2. Well, that's going to be 1.5 x minus 3.5 equals 1. And over here we have a positive half x minus a half x, which is 0. Okay, I'm going to move this to the other side. Okay, here's my variable, which I want to get by itself. But first I need to move this over. So how do I get rid of minus 3.5? Well, I need to add 3.5. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So on this side, I end up with 1.5 x. This is going to eliminate itself. And I have 1 plus 3.5, which is 4.5. One last step. I need to get rid of 1/2 x. Okay, so I'm going to change this to fractions, which we can do. 1.5 is the same thing as 3 over 2. I'm also going to change this. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 2. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this divide by 2. How do I get rid of divide by 2? I need to multiply by 2. So I'm going to write multiply by 2. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So the 2's are going to go away right there, and I have 3x equals 9. One last step. How do I get rid of multiply by 3? I need to divide by 3. Three divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that is our final answer.